What should the Browns do with Baker Mayfield?
Put him in the bin.
Is he due? Is he? They haven't taken a fifth year out on him, have they?
I don't.
Or was this year? This year was his fifth.
No, it's this. I think it is. I think it is next year. They need to decide next year.
I
think they would have had to have chosen by now, wouldn't they?
I think they probably have until a few more weeks. I would have thought. Because they.
I feel like excuses and the that everything is run out now. Like the team is obviously there. It's a good team, and all the mistakes that are happening are coming from the quarterback position.
They did pick up his fifth year.
Okay, they did pick up his fifth, and that's that's 30 million, isn't it?
So they've probably done that because they want more time to decide on what kind of contract they're gonna have to give him, basically.
Three-year deal with State Farm. I think you mean Progressive, don't you? Baker's house.
Yeah. Oh my god, those adverts.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that like the fact that he got his adverts and I had like an advertising campaign that was very, very prolific, just pushed the hatred of him. It kind of accelerated how quickly people hated him. It's so bizarre.
He wasn't performing in that well enough. Like it's. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because you don't want to see someone get so much hate, but the Browns are a marginally QB better away. Well, they just need a marginally better QB, and then I think they've got
a Super Bowl roster.
Put some names in the chat.
Yeah.
Put some names in the chat. You think it might be a better QB option for the Browns?
I mean, I'm not going to say no second QBs, like no Jacoby Brissett's or anything like that. I think that's a bit disrespectful, potentially.
I love that we're rising up in the followers, guys. I love that. I like, part of me was anxious with this follower count thing, being like, this is either going to motivate people to get followers, or we're just going to sit here on 2 and look like dicks for like 3 hours. So it's
a little reply to Mario. My bed is made. I fold the duvet over like Scandi style, so I don't have it flat. I just kind of fluff it and then.
What is the benefit of that?
The benefit of that, I prefer how it looks. Maybe it could be a bit neater, but
it's not very symmetrical.
I think Mario doesn't agree with that, but then that's
I don't
fine.
agree either.
I've
don't
got
worry,
no
I'm on your
Also,
side,
I feel
Mario.
like it airs out more of like the underneath if you fold it. You know what I mean? So
that actually sounds lovely. Ignore me. So
Browns,
Baker Mayfield.
QB. What do we think? Do we think Browns need to move on? Who would be a good option? Yeah. Who would be a good option for the Browns?
I mean,
because they're going to need someone who's, slightly unproven, not unproven, but like talent is there, and they don't mind playing in Cleveland.
I don't. I don't think that it's worth it for the Browns.
Jokes,
I don't think it's worth it for the Browns to, let's say, take up his fifth year, and then trade away players to get a higher draft pick to draft a QB. I think that's pointless.
No, I agree.
If they have to gut their team, there's no point. I think I just don't understand how they've taken his fifth year before they see which QBs hit the market.
Probably because it probably doesn't change much.
It changes how they pay him next year, because his cap hit next year is like 23 million or something like that.
Because if it's a fifth-year option, then they'll probably just be like, "Fuck it, he's a first-round pick."
But I think as part of the fifth year, in that fifth year, you pay them like a big star athlete. It's basically like a sort of mini franchise tag almost.
It's also fully guaranteed. So
yeah, and that's why it's such a big cap hit. So it's like they've already committed to that. Now, what I will say is that I think to your point, Nima, I agree that like they're in a win now situation, so they have to. Yeah, so Derek Carr is a great shout. That was literally who mine was going to be, Dan. So like, the Browns are in a win now mode. They need a quarterback who is definitely better than Baker Mayfield. So my thought is they're either going to heavily pursue Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, depending on how that all pans out, and then failing that, and personally I think it's smarter, is go and get Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr has proved this year that in the midst of nothing but turmoil, head coach getting fired and turning out to be a big old racist, Henry Ruggs and that horrific thing that I'm not going to go into because it's like I just run the risk of offending it. You've got
That's also so sad.
Yeah, and it's awful. You know what I mean? Like this, and then you've got their first round. Was it their first round cornerback they picked who like also got done and released from the team?
Another
like
player
illegal stuff?
got done for a DUI recently, but
Jack
I
Faz,
think
why would
it
Carr
also
want to go
Derek
there?
Carr won't be.
The
It won't be
roster.
too hard to pick up. I think because especially if the Raiders get obviously a new head coach, they might start from scratch. Who knows? I doubt it again. But how much would it take for Derek Carr to move to the Browns?
Well, I mean, I agree with Jack here that it's like he would have to want to go, Pitt, first of all. And I'm not. And again, this is
Yeah.
not. This is actually not me saying, shitting on the Raiders because again, they're a playoff team. The Browns are not. But I guess it's sort of like it depends on what the Raiders do with the rest of their season because it's like I think I'm not being unreasonable to say that whilst I'm very impressed with the Raiders and how they've managed to go to the playoffs and win, and they've got some great players in Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, like their defense certainly, even though they played great last night, isn't anywhere near as good as the Browns is on its day. The Browns' offensive line is phenomenal, and their running back, their running back tandem is probably the best in the league. I would say that their wide receiver core, like Hunter Renfrow, Jarvis Landry, I think Hunter Renfrow is more my kind of receiver. He's like a kind of footwork, little bit of a sort of down the sideline. He just makes the guy miss, and then he hits you deep. So maybe I prefer him. But it's not to say that like that's what I want. I want Derek Carr to leave the Raiders, and I hate the Raiders. That's not what I'm saying at all. It was just
brainstorming.
If we're brainstorming, and if I'm the Browns GM and I need to go get a QB, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to leave. And if he does leave, he probably isn't going to go to Cleveland. And I feel the same way with Russ. Derek Carr, who knows? Do you know what I mean? Like I think he's so underrated.
Mario's comment about Russ. He can see Russ because Sierra's got her up and coming career.
But then that only.
Sierra's up and coming. She wants to capitalize on her up and coming.
The Browns
career.
do have a great roster, although they're Claras. Yeah, I mean, that is true. But also, if anything, I love that about Derek Carr. If he is a Raider through and through, like. That team, I was going to say that city, but you've only been in Vegas like 2 years. But, the Raiders do need that identity. And without Derek Carr, there's no way they'd be in the playoffs this year. No chance. I mean, fair play to Rich Bisaccia, and in fact, that leads me into another point.